Hey everybody, Ryan here with another controller guide, today focusing on the all-powerful and all-knowing Astrologian. Today in the guide, just like with all others, we're going to be covering three main topics. The first section is going to be the HUD layout and configuration section. The second section is going to be focusing in on the controller layout and any macros that I might be using. And then the third section is kind of putting it all together and my general thoughts on Astrologian thus far. So in the top left, there should be annotations for you to be able to jump quickly to the section that you're most interested in. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up. And if not, no worries. You can always do that thumbs down button as well. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the first section, the HUD layout and settings section. So let's go ahead and get into the HUD layout. If you don't know how to access this, you can press Start, you can go over to System, and then you can go to HUD Layout to bring up the menu. Now, pretty much the majority of my time is going to be spent here within kind of this little box area of my character. This pretty much works in how I've laid it out for all of my jobs, but with the only exception being as a healer, you're going to need to make sure that you're paying attention to your party members list right here. So just always want to keep a good eye out on that. Make sure that your party isn't dropping too low, because as your primary role is that of a healer. So I'm going to start with upper left hand corner. We've got my focus target bar right there, followed by my enemy list. We've got my target bar and my progress bar next, and then after that I've got my hotbar 3. Now the hotbar number isn't important, it's just a horizontal hotbar. I use this to show and display various cooldowns to me. So it's not that I'm clicking on these actions, it's just that I want to make sure that I'm constantly aware that they're off cooldown so that if I need to use them, that I can. I've got my left W cross hotbar and I got my right W cross hotbar right here somewhat off-centered, because right here kind of splitting the difference is my status effects bar, and I want to make sure that I have a clear vision of all my positive and negative status effects that are on me at any time. Then right here in the center I've got just my regular cross hotbar. And then right below that, I've got my parameter bar, and I've got hotbar 2 down here at the bottom, just to give myself access to some easy emotes that I always like to use, which you can see me clicking on here in this video. I think this is a really solid layout. You guys, please feel free to take this and make it your own, make whatever changes that you feel are necessary for you, and that's the whole goal of that. All right, so next up, we've got various settings that I've got configured for my cross hotbar. Now, one of the things I do want to highlight first is here on the filters is that I have what I call custom and enemy. So when my weapon is sheathed and when my weapon is drawn. When my weapon is drawn, I only want to be targeting enemies. Then that's using the left and right on the D-pad. I cycle through my party exclusively with up and down. So up and down allows me to target any of my party members, but left and right allows me to focus in on enemies. I prefer this method. You guys can obviously use whatever you like, but I find it very easy to not have to left and right through my party members to find them, especially when there's a lot of stuff going on screen. So for my hotbar settings, I've got this hide unassigned slots, and that's how you see that I get this effect of just these actions floating out there in the middle. If I turn that off, you're going to see the various grayed out bars that are available for assignment, and I don't prefer that, but you can use it for however you want. And then you can see that I've got various things to display. So hotbar 2 set to display, and 3, and then in this case 9 and 10, which is how I've got some actions over there for myself. Under sharing, I am sharing hotbar 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10, and then cross hotbar only 5 through 8. So 1 through 4 are always going to be, in my case, job specific hotbars. Under the cross section, I've got a couple settings. This is in hold mode. If you want to use the L and R, and then kind of the extended hotbar and the double cross hotbar, you're going to need to make sure that you're in hold mode. I believe that toggle and mix don't work in this mode. And then you can see that I always have the W cross hotbar being displayed. Return to W cross hotbar after the extended hotbar input, and then I have it set to position separately. If I turn that off, you can see that it's going to position itself where it wants, but I want to keep that on as well. And then under custom, I've got the expanded controls with LT and RT, and set to 2 left, and then the other one, RT LT, is set to 7 right. And if you remember back from the sharing, 7 is shared and 2 is not. So this gives me that ability to have some expanded skills right here, but then on all my jobs, RT and LT, then I can easily summon minions, I can summon my mount, I can pull up my Wondrous Tales book, I can use my limit break, I can do some targeting. I've got a lot of functionality there that's across all jobs. Then under my W cross hotbar, I've got it set to only 4 buttons, and then I've got cross hotbar 3 left, and then I've got cross hotbar 3 right. So this is job specific, and that's how you see I've got those actions there. You actually cannot assign directly to those. So to assign to those, you always have to make back out. Yes, I'm going to close window. And then this is where you would assign as a part of 3, and that's how you get that double cross hotbar effect. That's my settings and layout section. Next up, we're going to be talking about the various skills and where I've got those placed. So stick around, we'll be right back. All right, so this is perhaps one of the my favorite parts of these videos, is just really kind of walking you through the skills and how I've got them laid out. Now currently, my Astrologian is only using pretty much set 1 of my cross hotbar. I've got it to where you can kind of see set 1 through 4, but I'm not really using anything on 4 just yet. Some of my other healers I do kind of toggle switch between, but in this case I didn't feel like it was necessary. I might come back and make an updated layout guide for this. We'll just see as I play with it more, but so far I've really enjoyed it. So we're going to go ahead and start from the top and work our way kind of through, and then we'll end on the extended cross hotbar here as well. So on this, just to feed me some information, some visual cues, I've got spread, and then I've got Royal Road. This lets me know when Royal Road is off cooldown, and this lets me know if I've got a card on hold. So, and what is that card? So, you know, if I draw a card, you're going to see that I'm like, okay, I've got balance, and I want to save that maybe for the boss. So I can put that into spread, and you can see that right here now I'm holding balance. I can see that here within my status effects, but I can always now communicate to myself, hey, don't forget, you've got the balance. Royal Road, as I said, Celestial Opposition, draw to continually inform me, hey, you can draw a new card now. Time Dilation, Swift Cast, and Synastry. So I think those are some really good cooldowns for myself to be included, so I'll go ahead and keep drawing cards, why not? So then, lots of balances. So over here on the left-hand side, I've got Luminous Aether, Stella, Combust, and Celestial Opposition. So that's how I easily can access, especially that action, is like whenever I need to, I can do that right there. Then here on the left-hand side, I've got Gravity, Redraw, Draw, and Malefic 2, followed by Combust, Disable, Light Speed, and Cleric Stance. Over here on the right hand side, I've got Aspected Helios, Stone Skin, Aspected Benefic, and Exalt Detriment. Then I've got Helios, Essential Dignity, Benefic 2, and Benefic. Now, if you've seen any of my other healing guides, I like to try to place similar abilities in the same spots, so that way it becomes more of a muscle memory than anything else. So you think Benefit 2, that's Cure 1, Cure 2. Then I've got my insta heal, and then I've got my AoE heal. Now, they're not always going to be the same, but at least they work. Now I've got Regen here on my White Mage, so I've got Aspect of Benefit here on my Astrologian. Then over here on the extended side, I've got my X Ether if I really need to get some MP back, Synastry, Time Dilation, and Collective Unconsciousness. So this is I think a really interesting setup that I've got configured for my Astrologian, and it really works pretty well so far. So please feel free to take this and make this your own. The goal is for you to feel comfortable when playing with a controller, so don't feel like you have to lay this out exactly as I have it. And then last but not least, I've got Protect, Diurnal Sect, which is going to give you kind of that Regen kind of esque White Mage effect, Royal Road, Nocturnal Sect, which is going to give you that kind of Scholar, that shielding type healer effect. I've got Ascend, essentially Raise, Sprint, Swift Cast, and in this case it's not the balance because it's Spread. And so then I can use the balance anytime. So you can easily access that menu by holding LT and RT and pulling up those actions. It's a pretty simple and straightforward system in my opinion, but I'm biased as well. So let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about my layout. Obviously, one of the things that we don't have a lot of, as you can tell, is a lot of macros right now for the Astrologian, which is really helpful, especially when trying to do various attacks. So there's a couple of skills you didn't see, like I don't have Malefic on there because I've got Malefic 2. It's just going to be a higher potency ability. You can, if you're sinking to a lower level, that's going to cause a little bit of I guess, stress, but I didn't really feel like the need to macro the two abilities together in the case that I'm level sunk. So anyway, so next up we're going to be talking about kind of my general thoughts on Astrologian as so far. So stick around, we'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to start and be completely honest with you. When I first started playing Astrologian, I didn't really care for the job at all. There were a few roadblocks to get over, and that namely is the core mechanic of the job itself. The first challenge is trying to figure out when to use the cards and who would best benefit from them. You get one card every 30 seconds, so in a normal dungeon boss fight, you're going to see a lot of cards come your way. You're also going to need to heal and DPS. If you're able to balance all of that, I think you're going to make a great Astrologian. My issues with the job were only that at the beginning. As more skills opened up and I became more comfortable with the job, I started to see the beauty in it. At level 60, there are some really fun things that I got to do, and drawing cards was much less of a chore. It was actually something I was looking forward to doing in between healing. So here's a quick pro tip. I find that it's better to actually draw the card before casting any other spell. Having the card drawn, it will show you what it is, and while you're casting a healing or a damaging spell, you can take that time to decide what to do with the card itself. Practice this mechanic, and the cards shouldn't seem too overwhelming to you. So now that I've come to enjoy the job, here's what I like about it. As a healer, you have a lot of utility in getting people up fast. In a large party, you can also look at the needs in the party and switch stances. So if you have a white mage, you can go with your shielding stance. If you have a scholar, you can go with kind of your regen stance, your white mage stance. It's really quite helpful. So this gives you a lot of flexibility. Being able to pop off some gravity from afar is very satisfying, and being able to use light speed to bring people back up from the brink is amazing. As a job, Astrologian is the Time Mage of Final Fantasy. With a quick cast and with light speed and space magic and gravity, you won't find yourself without something to do. Every 30 seconds you'll be able to buff your party and even extend the buff using your other skills. I have been both surprised and challenged by this job, and the best thing is it starts actually at level 30, so you'll be able to jump right in and get up to 60 pretty quickly. I would say that the job doesn't really become interesting until about level 50, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, this wraps up the Astrologian controller guide. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and tell your friends about us. It really does help a lot. Let me know if you got any questions or additions, if I missed anything, and I'll do my best to either answer them or update the guide as well in the future. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Brian, and this is Work to Game. I hope to see you in my next video, and until then, I hope you have a fantastic day.